We were looking to put 100 beds quickly on our campus for student occupancy.
The growth was happening faster than we could adjust as a university.
We were all dealing with a project that we're not familiar with.
I really loved the layout, how spacious it was. That was definitely something that caught me off guard.
Being able to be a part of a project where we can provide housing for the students, it makes my heart happy and proud to know that we could achieve this.
Fisk University has been growing enrollment at an unprecedented rate in the last 5 or 6 years, and upward of 70% increase in enrollment. And we sit on this extraordinary 45-acre campus with some of the most iconic historic buildings on any college campus. And yet, in some instances, the growth was happening faster than we could adjust as a university. And so as we begun to kind of see where the residential limitations, we have a bunch of aging infrastructure, particularly on the residential front. And so we were kind of looking at what are possible solutions along the way. And so a couple of years ago, a trustee brought to my attention this opportunity around container housing. And we could kind of see the trend and begin to sort of back into the numbers of residential capacity and how the campus occupancy rate sort of stacks up against that. It quickly became apparent to us that we needed to solve for this enrollment growth without stalling the momentum.
Containers, like, y'all gonna have us in containers? It's gonna be hot, it's probably gonna be small, it's not gonna work out at all.
When they say like a container, I imagine exactly what it is, a container. To be completely honest, I wasn't the most excited about it.
We have built residence halls, but we have not built micro apartments from shipping containers. And so when we looked at the design, the initial designs given to us by Custom Container Living, it was difficult to understand what we were looking at and what the impact would be. What are the noise levels? Those were questions we had no answers to because we weren't familiar with this type of residential living. But coming to the rescue, like the Lone Ranger, was Custom Container Living, and they spent hours with Dr. Fredrickson and President Sims and I, and then ultimately certified and architects for Fisk to answer all of our questions, make us feel at ease, and they certainly did that.
You can only imagine they had a lot of questions, so we spent a lot of time with them, working with them, answering questions, going over the layout, the designs. The communication is so important because there's so many moving pieces on a project this large, and working back and forth with the university, I mean, really, they were awesome. Great job to Fisk and their staff because they knocked it out of the park with the communication.
We felt really, really good about the conversations we had with Robert, the product that we saw, the timeline. This allows us to continue the momentum, take some of the pressure off the aging infrastructure as we deal with certain deferred maintenance issues. And then it sort of became a no-brainer, and then it just became about how do we get it done.
The design that we chose hit all of the bells and whistles that our students said that they wanted they wanted an apartment-style living, number one. And these containers absolutely hit that mark without question.
I think they're going to be pretty strong on the outside. We got to choose the finishes. They just kind of gave us colors, and we got to pick cabinets, colors of the walls, colors of the exterior cabinets, doors, finishes.
So there was 51 containers in all, and the production time was fairly quick once we got the process started. From start to finish, we're probably 6 months on the construction time, and then the design phase, probably another 60 to 90 days. What our main objective is, building the containers, delivering the containers, installing the containers. Our team had to work together to be able to coordinate transportation from Missouri to Nashville. We actually installed them in phases. So we installed the bottom half in phase 1. We installed the north side in phase 2, and then phase 3 was the south side. So it worked out really well. Every situation will be a little bit different on the space restrictions for staging them and stuff. But the logistic part of it is definitely an obstacle, but we've had a lot of experience. Our team is good at coordinating that. So just leave that up to us. We'll handle that and make sure it all works smoothly. Another piece of the puzzle that is really huge. I mean, that would be a general contractor that would handle all the site prep, the foundations, the utilities, all the grading, the sidewalks. And here at this project, we work with certified construction.
My role was out here in the field overseeing quality control, and safety.
I got the drawings and estimated the project, worked with Robert on coordinating the structural components, the utilities, worked on permitting, and we tore out the tennis court. We got the whole site to grade, put 36-inch diameter foundations all the way down to bedrock with steel plates in them to weld the containers to. We ran water, sewer, fire line, power, data, low voltage, everything to the containers. Then we had to build the stairs, the walkways, and we had to get creative. We had to coordinate laydown areas and deliveries. And once the containers showed up, Robert had everything stubbed out, ready, where all we had to do was make a connection.
You walk and you have these visions in your head of what things may look like, and finally there they are, these blue and gold containers with the beautiful stairs and sort of the setting around it. You have an image in your head of what that will look like, but it's extraordinary to see it come to fruition. And I think sort of a moment where you're like, wow, was pretty exhilarating.
When I FaceTimed my mom, she was like, oh my gosh, like it's so nice. They're basically in an apartment. And when my friends came over, she was like, this is basically my apartment in a container. So I really loved the layout, how spacious it was. That was definitely something that caught me off guard. I really did think it was going to be small, but it's a really nice size. I feel like a lot of people from seeing them would think that it's really hot on the inside, but at least my container is really cold. Like I'll be in a hoodie, some sweatpants, my blanket. So it really does hold the cold air really, really nicely. Once I learned about like tiny homes and container homes, I really liked them and wanted to live in them. So actually being able to live in a micro apartment senior year kind of solidified that I would live in a container home.
So when I first got into my container, I FaceTimed my family and friends, and they were actually just as impressed as I was about how everything was organized on the inside, the structure of it, how spacious it was. It doesn't feel crowded, but you still can make it feel homey.
I say thank you to all of our employees. We couldn't do what we do without them. This project, they jumped right in and they're like, okay, let's figure this out, let's tackle it, and let's get these 51 containers built. And by the end of the 51, I think they could do it in their sleep. So they were awesome, and they really performed and turned out an awesome project.
I think they turned out great. You got, I think, just enough kitchen, just enough living room, you got a workspace, you got a bathroom. That's all I really needed as a student, because I spent a lot of my time on campus. So be able to come here and just kind of relax and spend some time on your own, or with your roommate, I think they're great.
I think it all came together real well. I do not recall actually having a glitch like we have on other jobs where it makes your heart skip a beat and you think, oh shit.
Yeah.
It fell together, man. It was piece by piece. I don't know how it could have been improved on.
I think it's great for Fisk, great for the community. There's been a ton of interest, people stopping by. What are those? What
can I see them?
Can I see them? Can I,
how much they rent for?
Once you kind of get an inside look at it and you kind of understand the process, I mean, the advantages to it are beyond cost, sustainability, innovation, look, quality of life. I mean, all the things that you would the high points that you would look at in any kind of student housing, affordable housing, and any sort of project where you're looking to address an imminent need, a degree of urgency, a high quality experience. And I think evidently it also has to do with who you work with, like anything else. But yeah, no, I would highly recommend it.
The parent is the one that was the final judge for me, and I was over there the day that they were moving in, and the parents said the same thing I just said. Once we got in there and we saw them, we would rather have our son or daughter in a micro apartment than in our dormitory. So it's very, very gratifying that this has turned into such a successful, well-received project.
One of the things that really drove me to get into this business was to be able to provide housing, affordable housing, sustainable housing, durable housing for people. So being able to be a part of a project where we can provide housing for the students and also know that there is such a big need out there for this type of housing, it makes my heart happy and proud to know that we could achieve this.
You know, we've been very fortunate in the last 6 or 7 years. We've had some incredible partners, and Robert and his crew are absolutely at the top of that list with just their devotion to getting it right, the sort of straightforwardness with which this was done. This was no sort of unknowns. Everything was communicated. It was very clear from the get-go, and I think it's rare that you find a partner whose commitment to you providing your deliverable is as high as theirs to providing theirs, and it takes that kind of alignment to have a launch as successful as this one.